Hi everyone, this is Adina from Immigrant Finance. I'm going to riff a little bit today about the theme of building momentum in your business by having a vision, by having a really, really big vision, because this is something that I have seen make a really big impact for us in immigrant finance recently, and for several of the students that we're working with in our immigrant finance business school program. And it's pretty incredible how things start to show up and opportunities start coming out of nowhere when you have that larger calling really clear in your mind. And so, what I'm talking about here is not just having a goal in your business to make X amount of money per month or bring in X amount of clients or whatever. Of course, those things are things that make sense to think about in a business to make sure that there's money coming in and that the business is growing and not going into debt. But what I'm talking about is having a really big vision of ultimately what you're working what you're working toward through your business to make an impact on the world. And it should be something that is scary and exciting and stretches you, something that seems nearly impossible right now, but if you could accumulate all the resources you need to make change in the world in 10, 20, 30 years, what would you want to be doing in your business? How would you want to be giving back? How would you want to be using this tool of having a business and having a way to accumulate resources to be changing the world? And you could think about this as, what is like your big why in your business? What is, some people refer to it as um, your big hairy ass goal, or your like why of all whys. So that that vision, getting clarity around that can really make a difference, because once you have that, I'm seeing in with us and with several of our clients that things and opportunities and solutions of how to get there start to show up actually pretty quickly once that vision is clarified. And I'm not talking about here about like, making more money, or having a vision of how much money you can make. It's really not about that. It's about helping others and your larger soul purpose as a person, and what you're meant to do in this world to make an impact and to help others, and how your business can be part of that. And you'll see that, like I said, once that vision starts to develop, the solutions of how to get there start to fall in place. And the reason why that happens is, well, there's several reasons. One of them is when you're tapping into your soul purpose and what you're really meant to do, why you were put on this earth, and you're aligned with that vibration and that energy, the universe tends to show up and support you in that. And I know that sounds very woo woo and energetic, but if you've listened to this podcast, if you've talked with me, if you've been in one of our programs, that I believe energy and all that stuff is actually just as important as financial strategies when it comes to both your finances and having a business. Energy is a huge part of money. Money is a currency. There's a reason it's called a currency. It's like a current. It's like a river that flows, and things get blocked off, that's when money starts flowing. So anyway, I could go down a whole rabbit hole about the energy of money, but I just want to make the point that it applies to business too. And so when you are in touch with what your purpose is, that energy gets very electric, and things start to fall into place. Signs start showing up, opportunities start coming out of nowhere. That's why you hear about things just starting to work out for people when they're in alignment of what they're supposed to be doing. And I've certainly seen that in enough people we've worked with now that I believe it's real. It's some kind of magic, there's lots and lots of theories out there about that. But the other reason that this happens, besides energy, is just kind of um, I don't know if it's biologically, metaphysically. I'm not in the science field, so I don't know the right term, but I know that from reading a little bit about brain science, what our brains do when we start asking better questions and we start expanding our vision is our brains start to come up with the solutions how to get there. Because basically when you create like gaps in your brain, new questions or new visions of something you want, you're not sure how to get there, that creates a gap, and our brains are hardwired to start to fill gaps. So when you start having that expanded vision or start asking better questions of yourself, our brains actually change and start to find the answer. So that's another reason you want to have that really big vision, because your brain will start to find the answers, and the answers are probably already all around you, but your brain will start to see them, and you're going to be more aware, and you're going to be picking up on things and opportunities that you may have missed before because you weren't in the right mind space and you weren't in line with that larger vision that you're meant to do. And in terms of finding your vision, that is going to take time. It's a process. That's something I would love to help you think through. If you're interested, you can reach out and set a complimentary strategy session with us at immigrantfinance.com/consult. But basically, when you have that vision and you start to get that clarity, momentum starts building in your business because of these things I just described, where the universe is showing up and making things happen for your business. Your brain starts problem solving in a different way, and you have that way larger vision and picture to be working toward. So things that felt terrifying before that you were unwilling to do or too scared to do, for example, um, getting on the phone and doing sales calls and reaching out to people who you could help, or being visible and posting videos or pictures of yourself on social media and sharing more about yourself personally. These things that could feel really terrifying and that you may feel stuck and not able to do, they start to get a lot less scary when you have that larger vision. Because if that larger vision is so big and so important and so meaningful and so part of your larger soul purpose and what you're meant to do, all of those other things become very small, and they just become stepping stones and tools on the way to get there. So that's another reason that people are able to move forward in their businesses when they have a large, significant vision like that. And if you think about it, businesses, just like humans, are meant to always be growing, right? So humans are not meant to stay stagnant and stay the same. I've talked about before, there's actually no such thing as staying where you are and staying in the status quo. Humans and businesses were either growing or dying in some ways. There's no such thing as just staying at the same pace. So if you're not growing yourself or in your business, then what happens is you start to go backward. And so that's another reason to have a really, really big vision to be working toward, of how you want to be helping people, making an impact in the world, so that you and your business can continually be expanding and growing into that instead of going backwards. And for us, the vision that we got some clarity on recently is super exciting. And I'm very honored and pleased to share it with you all for the first time in this episode. I'm sure I'll be talking about it a lot more. Um, is to become, basically, we want to become a like an angel investor firm to invest in immigrant owned online businesses to help them grow. Let me explain what this is. So in the San Francisco tech world area, there's all these things called angel investors, which is basically people who invest in startups and new tech startups and stuff like that, and give them money so that they have the money to invest in their startups and grow them and make something real out of an idea. So this is how things like Uber and DoorDash and Instagram and WhatsApp, all of these big companies that now we take for granted, all started with angel investors investing in an idea. And for us, there's nothing we're more passionate about at this point than seeing more immigrants and family members of immigrants being able to create online businesses for so many reasons. One, it's the probably easiest, best way right now to increase income and build wealth, regardless of someone's immigration status. So even if someone doesn't have a work permit or immigration status and they're not allowed to be an employee for an employer, um, they are allowed to have their own business. And so that is a way legally for immigrants, regardless of their status, to be increasing income. Second, online, it's never been easier than ever to start a business and increase income because there's infinite potential online. There's very low startup costs. You don't have to pay rent or electricity like you would in a brick and mortar business. There's also infinite numbers of people to help and serve all over the world, right? There's ways to start an online business and start creating something and having an offer and creating a sustainable business organically, without having to really pay much, without having to do ads or anything like that. And also, online business is where the economy is going. The digital economy, we've seen has really expanded, particularly under the COVID pandemic, where a lot of people in society were forced to go online who maybe otherwise weren't ready to, and a lot of businesses were forced to go online. And this is where the economy is going. And we have seen in all of history that, particularly in the US, immigrants, and people who migrate and people who are brave enough to leave where they're from and innovate and create new things are often the ones who are leading significant economic shifts that happen. And so, what's going on now is there's a significant economic shift happening online, and we need to see immigrants part of that shift and leading it. So, first of all, we need to make sure immigrants aren't left behind in that so that they can participate in the new economy as it shifts more and more online. And second, they should be leading it because immigrants have always led significant economic shifts. That's why, if you look at the Fortune 500 companies, which are the top 500 companies in the US, which is the strongest economy in the world, about half of them have been started by immigrants or family members of immigrants. So this is something we feel so passionate about. And, we knew with immigrant finance, we always had a clear vision that we wanted to support immigrants in developing financial stability and building wealth and being able to start businesses. That was always there. That's at least, developed pretty quickly. But that big vision, that big why was kind of a question mark. And it came to me recently and we talked about it, and Mal was super excited about it. And I started talking to some colleagues about it, that it's like, we need to grow this so big that we are able to reinvest um, the income in immigrant finance into the online businesses of our clients, and that other immigrants and family members of immigrants are starting. So we want to create that. We want to get to a place where we can be constantly reinvesting and being an angel investor to help these businesses get off the ground and to grow, because we need to see more immigrants and family members of immigrants who are leading the new digital economy and have the support and resources and funding to turn their brilliant ideas into reality. So that's something we're so excited about. You can hear probably the passion in my voice. It's pretty early stages of the idea, but that now is our clear vision that we're working toward. I'll be talking a lot about it, I'm sure a lot. I'm sure we'll develop a lot. But to make it concrete of what I was explaining before, now that we have that vision, it's like, oh yeah, obvious certain decisions we need to make that before seemed terrifying or something we'd have to wait years to do. It's like when you have that big vision, you have to take significant major leaps to get there. And so ideas and opportunities have started to show up very quickly after that vision crystallized, that are really exciting and can start to provide a pathway to that vision. So, for example, we are working on the Spanish version of Immigrant Finance School. Mal is currently translating the whole course at the time of this recording. He's working very, very hard on it. And we were just kind of thinking, okay, it will be an on-demand online course. Our English course is group coaching. It has live coaching, but it would be sort of hard for us to do it in Spanish. I speak Spanish, but I don't speak it well enough to teach financial concepts in it. And Mao is pretty shy and not he's not a natural teacher. That wouldn't be his zone of genius in particular. So we were just thinking small and thinking we have to just offer the course on demand. But then once we had this big vision crystallize and develop, we started asking better questions and started seeing more opportunities, and realized that we could actually find someone else who's the perfect teacher who speaks Spanish fluently, who has a financial background, who can teach the course in Spanish. And it's really, really exciting. This is super initial, but like right after that vision crystallized, there was one person already who seems like a perfect fit who came into our orbit. So just, who knows what will happen, but I just wanted to explain that that's how things kind of work out when you get clear on your vision. And we've started seeing this with several of our students in our Immigrant Finance Business School program as well, which is our 6-month online business accelerator program. So there's one student in particular who just also recently got really clear on her big vision, her big why of how she wants to be giving back to her community through her business and helping other immigrants and helping single moms, have a better life situation and all of that. And it's incredible to see that, like, this is happening so quickly for her. And she's started having clients just rolling in. And she even started telling one of her clients about that vision. Her client was ready to support her. Her client even paid her more than what she asked for. And we're only at module 5 of 14 modules. And this is already happening. The student is already realizing she's probably going to have to leave her day job soon because of how fast her business is growing. So this is how these things work energetically when you get that clarity on your vision. Plus you have the strategies and processes to make it happen, which obviously we provide in the course. So, it's not just having an idea and having mantras and desiring and wishing. You have to back it up with action and strategies. But that's exactly what she's doing. She's working so hard. Excuse me. And things are starting to really fall in place. We have another student in the program, excuse me, who just found out that in her day job, they may be losing funding soon. They may be having hiring freezes, which is terrifying. But because she's growing her business and she has clarity about how she can be making money and helping others and serving through her business, and it's starting to fall into place, she described that she feels a sense of calm despite this happening. And I know what's going on is she is starting to step into and feel that bigger purpose that is meant for her, that she's working toward. And when you're in alignment with that bigger purpose and your vision, things tend to work out, again, when you back it up with the strategies and the processes and putting in the work. So I hope this inspires you all today. I was so excited to talk a little bit about the impact of vision on building momentum in your business, because I've been just seeing it all around me lately and had to share it with you all. And so for next steps, if you're listening to this, I would encourage you to just spend some time journaling or thinking in the shower, thinking on a run, thinking when you're driving, whenever is your thinking time, about what is that really big vision potential you could be working toward. And don't put pressure on yourself to figure it out in one day or even 1 week or 1 month. It will come to you when it's the right time. But if you are asking that right question, and the answer is going to show up to you. The answer is going to show up, of what you're meant to be doing. And if you keep taking steps toward that, the solutions of how to get there are also going to show up. So keep an eye out for the signs. Be very aware of, when you're taking steps in that direction, are you starting to see the universe affirm that in some ways? Because that tends to happen when you're going toward your purpose, that the universe will send you signs you're going in the right direction. So keep an eye out for the signs. Really think about how you can be helping others and making the world a better place based on your unique experience. Everyone has a unique life experience that no one else ever has had. If you want to hear more about this, listen to the episode we had on how there's no competition in online business. This is the reason, because no one can compete with your life experience and perspective. And so if you create something from that, it's going to be in alignment with your purpose, and it's going to be something that no one can replace. It's your unique ability to share what you learned in life with the world and help others who need to hear that. And if you're looking for more support and a group to really dive in on building out your business and having the guidance to do it, apply to our Immigrant Finance Business School program at immigrantfinancebusinessschool.com. We would love to have you consider joining the group, seeing if it's a good fit. Our next round is starting September 19th, 2021, and we are currently offering a bonus coaching workshop on finding your soul purpose for anyone who enrolls in the program by July 1st. So feel free to reach out at helloimmigrantfinance.com with any questions. Send us a message on Instagram or Facebook at Immigrant Finance. And we wish you a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Take care.